Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we're gonna visit just a little bit about edging straps. If you're trying to edge little narrow straps like this, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, stuff like that, especially when you get into something like reins or really long pieces, purse straps or anything like that, sometimes they can be kind of a pain in the butt to try to, hold that strap straight and try to edge it. And so I've got a little trick for that was taught to me when I first started doing leather work. And so I'm gonna show you that in this video. We're just gonna kind of visit a little bit about that. So one of the things that you can do when you're edging your straps that makes it really easy, the easiest thing is just to have a little straight edge. If you can find just an old little wooden straight edge, they used to give them away at lumber yards and stuff like that. They come in really handy in case you hit it with your edger. You don't want to, chance marring up your edge, even though wood will kind of damage it too, but a lot less than if you put down a metal straight edge here on the edge of your bench. So this is actually the straight edge that came out of the shop whenever I was apprenticing. With the man that I apprenticed with, it was actually screwed to one of his benches, and whenever I bought the shop from him, it was just stuck there. We ended up taking it off at some point because we put a different tabletop on, and it just never got put back, and so we kind of got away from using it. But when we moved out to this shop, I found it when I got out of my old shop, and so we screwed it back in place on this bench. And it just really comes in handy when you're edging straps or anything like that, just to kind of give you a backstop. So that's technically all that you do with it. It's just, you've got it, I've got 2 screws in here just to hold this in place. You can butt your little strap, instead of trying to fight it and hold it with your fingers straight and trying to edge, you can actually put that your strap, and it can be whatever width. Usually if the wider they are, the less trouble they are, but if they're really narrow, it just gives you a nice backstop here for that to stay against, and then all you're doing is just keeping it held down, and the straight edge will help to keep it straight. And so as you edge along, all you got to do is just make sure it stays down, doesn't come up off the top of the straight edge, and you can edge really easily. That'll just kind of keep it from snaking its way as you're trying to edge, which is also kind of dangerous, because if you've ever had it happen when the edger slides off the top because that strap's trying to move, it'll come out of there and you can catch your finger and cut yourself. Some of the most painful cuts I've had, not the worst, but the most painful ones have been driving the blunt corner of that edger into your finger. And that is what gets jammed into your finger, and if it punctures it, it hurts even when it doesn't, but when it punctures it really hurts. So we want to try to be as safe as we can with our hand tools in the shop. So that straight edge will act like a backstop, and just to help you keep that strap straight, and then all you're doing with your fingers is really just keeping it down so it doesn't pop up over the top of your straight edge. And so as you edge along, you can just kind of walk down there, and it keeps it really straight, and it allows your edge also to look much nicer. If you've ever noticed when you're edging a thin strap, again, to me thin, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, something like that, they tend to move as you're walking down them. And if you're doing that, sometimes your edge will look real choppy and it won't look really smooth. And if you've got a nice sharp edger, that's the first step. But the next step is to hold that material in place while you're edging it. But try to get you just a little wooden straight edge. Like I said, I would recommend using wood just in case you did slip off somehow or hit it. Metal will really wreck the sharpness of these blades, and once you get these to where they're not sharp anymore, they're really a pain to try to sharpen back up or get an edge back on them. So I would recommend using a wood straight edge here. Then you can just screw it to your table, use it as a backstop for your little straps. And I use it on stirrup leathers as well. I'll just back it right there, and it just helps because as you're edging, you're kind of pushing towards that ruler or towards the material, trying to edge it, obviously. So as you're doing that, you're trying to scooch it. Well, this will kind of just help it hold it in place. It'll really help you to ensure that your edges are really nice and that you're as safe as you can be, and not slipping off there and jabbing the edger into your hand. All right, and this is another little deal that I have on one corner of my main bench, and this is another way to edge little thin straps and stuff like that. And this is actually a really fast way to do it, and it works really well. And so we use this one quite a bit, and it makes it, this is a little bit taller, and but it's on a corner of my bench that I don't use very often, so it's not really in my way. Or it's just a one layer of leather, and then it got like a little shape right here, and this piece on top is the piece on top there is what keeps the leather down while you're using it. And so I've kind of got a little mess over here where I use this thing. But I run my strap in there, And like I said, this here is just kind of keeping that leather down for me. And then here, now this one, you actually kind of get it started and then pull your leather out just a little bit and then pull it through. And so you're holding your edger stationary and pulling the leather. And so it works a lot like an easy edger or something like that. And so it does a really nice job, and it's a lot faster. If you're doing a lot of like throat latches for head stalls or anything like that, you can certainly, you know, go through a bunch of them really quick this way just by zipping it through there. Hold your edger straight. And I set this one up. It'll take it'll take some pretty thick leather, but I mainly just use it for the thinner stuff just because it makes it so much easier to use. But it's kind of the same kind of concept. You've got a backstop, something so as you're pushing that edger again into the leather, it's holding it against something, and then you're just pulling that leather through there against your edger, and that works really well. All right, guys, that's about all I got on edgers. Like I said, that's just a couple little tips that I've picked up along the way. I didn't come up with any of this. It was taught to me. I picked it up along the way. Somebody did a video on that other edger that's on the corner of the bench that I showed you. Somebody showed that that little leather block thing, I guess last year or 2 years ago. I've been using one for years, so I don't know where that originated from, but it was cool to see because I didn't know anybody else use that. Of course, I haven't been in a lot of other shops, but it's a neat little thing. It's really easy. It doesn't cost a bunch. Give it a try. Just be careful, like I said, because these edgers can definitely cut you. They're not completely safe. Nothing is. You know, it's made to cut skin, yours or cows. So if you're edging a lot of narrow strips and stuff like that, just be careful. Anything you can do to kind of help you hold that material down so that you don't cut yourself is a good deal. So hope you enjoy that. Just a quick tip video. Try it out. Let me know how it works. Thank y'all.